I have to choose where I go, how many parties I buy ashwebi for.
The ultimate aim of any peace builder is to build resilience.
I want to agree with you. Coming from the side of positivity, we need to look at the glass, half full and not half empty.
In fact, we're trying to sell off one of our vehicles and nobody wants to buy.
You have the good spirit and you have the bad spirit. Whichever you feed is the one that grows and gets bigger.
Let's look at how we can make best of the situation for ourselves, and that is the conversation we are here to have.
Peace of mind is underrated. That's why I'm patient. Cause I know my time is now. When nobody want be your
Today, guys, we have a very important conversation that we need to have as Nigerians. And to help us do justice to this topic, which is fostering personal and collective peace amidst the challenges in the country, is a huge one to crack. But not to worry, guys, we have professionals and beautiful Nigerians in the studio who would help us do justice to our topic and ensure that every Nigerian at this moment can find peace for themselves. So help me welcome to Peace Talk with Mercy, Winifred Alobo Agogo. She is a lawyer and of course she has worked with a social campaign group. The group is called Operation Black Vote to develop strategies for inclusiveness. Wow. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mercy. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. And you look calm and beautiful, by the way. So
Thank you.
Thank you. And then, of course, we have our perfect gentleman in the studio. He is Chukwu Emeka Ikemefuna Umba. He serves as the Deputy Director of Research in the Office of the DG of the Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution, and they are under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And he holds a Bachelor degree of Arts in French and German. Currently, he's working to earn his PhD in Law and Diplomacy. He's a big oga. Please make him welcome on Peace Talk with Mercy.
Thank you very much. I'm almost blushing here.
Like, seriously.
Thank you.
While you're blushing, I just feel honored to have you guys on Peace Talk with Mercy. The first thing I want to know is how you are coping as a Nigerian at this time.
So I always start with gratitude. I'm grateful to be alive, to experience the Nigeria of today. So having said that, it's tough. We're not where we were, and certainly hope we don't stay here. The hike in price of fuel, food, school fees, rent, it puts a pressure on families and individuals to look for resources. And I work in the development space. With the US executive order, my colleagues have lost jobs as well. So starting the year on that note, I can definitely say that it is tough. I'm grateful to be alive, but it is certainly tough. We can't deny it.
That is just being real right there. Thanks for that input. But for yourself personally, we'll get deeper into that conversation. But let's hear from our honorable.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, anybody that says that things haven't changed would be lying. Even though I guess for there to be change, you must have some ups and downs, and that's what we're going through right now, because just buying fuel now, you calculate, where do I go?
Yes.
Do I follow, the gist about which one burns faster, which one doesn't? Even I even see it in the eyes of children these days, when they're talking about maybe school fees and all that. But it's also positive because they're now being more responsive to, the culture of saving. Most people used to squander a lot. Now everybody's more careful. There's a lot more budgeting. And I guess it has also brought families closer because, you just have to work together to be able to survive. We have the renewed hope agenda of the government. And that's the truth. We're trying to renew the hope. It's not
Exactly.
as if,
So all hope,
it must start from somewhere.
It's not lost.
And that's where we are now.
I want to agree with you. Coming from the side of positivity, we need to look at the glass, half full and not half empty. Let's look at how we can make best of the situation, for ourselves, and that is the conversation we are here to have. However, it's provided in the constitution that the government is responsible for the welfare and well-being of her citizens, her safety, and all of that. While we are waiting for government to do more, what are the practical things we should do as Nigerians, first of all, to hold the government accountable to ensuring that Nigerians are doing well? Let me start with you this time around.
One thing that you should realize, and that's what's happening even globally, not just Nigeria, the footprint of the government is gradually reducing, because with the private sector, the communities should take back a lot of ground that hitherto government had taken. And, the truth about it is, we're not going to kid ourselves. The government is not the best in running industries and doing some things. And that's why you see the government
But
gradually...
they have to create the enabling environment.
Yes, and that's what we're
to
doing.
yeah.
And that's what through the laws, the policies, and the enabling, structures that would now help the private sector, help the people that do it better than the government to do it. So that's why we're there.
Exactly.
Even at the institute, you see us, we're the apex peace building agency of the government. But you see us, we're now partner. I was talking about our partners, Neem Foundation, USID, and other partners that we work with every day, even yourself.
Yes, definitely.
Because the voice of positive change has to be said, but we can't do it alone. And we also make sure that we engage. Peace building is an all-comers affair. You can't do it alone. In fact, if you want to do it alone, then you've failed. I've been in this business for about 25 years. In fact, IPC is celebrating 25 years, and I'm a pioneer staff.
Oh, wow.
So I've gone through a lot of motions, and I've seen that once you want to do anything in terms of peace building, you must have an all-comers approach. You can, as many people as possible. Once you start, you have to be inclusive. You can't seclude people and achieve the peace that you're looking for, unless you get what we call peace of the graveyard, which is very temporary and transient. So we need to work together.
Very true. And we are still going to come back to this conversation because you've said quite some on, how the government needs to be inclusive. However, I need pointers of what government should do to at least bridge the gap and be sincere about governance and connect to Nigerians. We are going to get there, really. But I'll come to you right now. Okay. Yes, looking at the same state of the country, as a citizen, I love the fact that I love the blend. It's like I have citizens and governments here, so you might have to sweat a bit trying to bridge the gap. Yeah, we are here. Being a Nigerian who is living in Nigeria at this moment, what are the things you are dealing with personally, and what are the practical things as a Nigerian you should do to not give hope completely, to not lose hope completely, and still, be on top of your game and glide to as we work together for a better Nigeria?
Okay, before I start, I would like to give a caveat that the way and manner in which I'm dealing with things might differ for people in other classes of existence. So I do not say this as a one size fits all, but like you said, in my personal life, so my resources are not going as far as they used to go. So I have to budget smarter. I have to make better choices. Like my co-guest said, I have to choose where I go, how many parties I buy ashwebi for, and things like that. Even as much as the meals I serve my family, I've had to reorientate us. That is about nutrients and not brand. It's that real. You have to get to the micro level of planning from the cars we drive. In fact, we're trying to sell off one of our vehicles and nobody wants to buy it because it's not fuel efficient. Those are the kind of decisions that Nigerians are having to face. And how do I stay positive about it? I still count myself privileged. I'm someone who lives out of gratitude mostly because I've seen the bottom, I've seen the top. When I lost my dad at 15, as a family, we had to restructure life from very luxurious to basic. So I think I have that benefit of my experience, not to be so afraid. I'm like, oh, come on. We are based, we are bound. So that's my personality. So we have to review our approach to life. Start with gratitude. I know it's hard for some people, harder than for others. But start with gratitude. What do I have going for me? That's always my starting point. This is what I have going for me. This is what I have lost. This is what I can no longer afford for the moment. What can I do to increase my income base? So I manage my time better. The time I used to browse on the internet, I'm thinking, what side hustle can I knock together to earn more?
Very true.
And still have a good quality of life for myself and my community. And I'm someone who has a lot of people that I look after besides my children. So I'm also thinking, I don't want this person to drop out of school. I don't want. So the pressure is there. And the truth is, probably more for us who earn well, because people are used to expecting certain things from us. True. And so we don't want to necessarily let the whole ecosystem down. But so that creates another layer of pressure for you in your emotions, in your sense of responsibility. I've had to have conversations with some people and say, see, oh, now this allowance you used to get, it has to come down. And now I'm thinking of how to equip them to make money for themselves. Not like before that I was comfortable enough to just give you. And I'm thinking, okay, in this your community, what can we source? What can we distribute? You see, so it's a positive thing as well, because I'm thinking of how to equip my value chain so that they can be self-sustaining. So let me stop there for now.
Yes,
but
you've
it's a
said
full
so
change.
much, but yeah, it
Yes.
is really. And I love the part that you said, community, teaching people what to do versus giving them, so right now you can't afford to give them as much as you would like to, or as much as you used to.
Yeah.
So right now we need to empower ourselves with skills and all of that. So I'm going to go back to my government organ.
Yeah.
I am deliberately saying that because I think we need to create platforms where government officials, people who hold the office, will come down to Nigerians and talk to them. That's how can we begin to have mindset shifts and really have the change that we desire. So back to you. She has said so much, things she has to do at least she's earning well and she's living well, but she still had to make adjustments. But there are Nigerians who lost their jobs, in the course of all of this. There are Nigerians who cannot afford the next meal. I want you, as a voice of government, to speak to those people.
Yes, thank you very much, and I agree with her that one of my beautiful co-guest, that one of the issues right now is that of course the earnings have come down. Let people work and see where they can work. It's not just about jackpot, trying to upskill while staying at home, trying to do braiding hair, balloon decoration, entrepreneurship. People start trying to move out of their comfort zone. You could see that a lot of civil servants or public servants like me started doing other things, the legal things. I'm not talking about because there's, of course, with the downturn in the economy, there's always the lure to do those nefarious things. And of course, we're not going to encourage it because you will get caught. And when you get caught, both you and your family will go in, and it's a terrible thing to do. So it's important for you to recalibrate a bit, to realize that God has really, really been faithful. Then it comes back to, what you said about gratitude. You just kneel down and thank God.
Most Nigerians will tell you that not God.
No, seriously.
No one
God.
else but God, because truly changes just happened on us. And I came out one day and I priced the taxi, and the cost had gone up about 300%. So I looked at the taxi guy. Should I go back to my house or I should continue my journey? And then you go to the markets, the prices have also increased by like 300%. And you're wondering, should I eat or should I fast? You have to make those tough decisions at this time. But however, we need to keep our hope alive. It's all we have, really. It's all we have. So what are the practical things Nigerians should do at this point to ensure that they're in the right place mentally?
Okay. Nigerians are very resilient. I don't know if it's our genetic makeup or is it the hardships of military rule that has made us become what we are. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing, because we're so resilient that we don't even demand better from our government. And it's a good thing because we're getting on with it. So as Nigerians, the happy people that we are, you still hear pockets of people gather around music, dancing, joking. We still
Exactly.
joke about this hardship. Can you believe that? We still joke about it. It might seem irresponsible, but it's a coping mechanism. It's the perspective that gives us hope to wake up the next day. Is it sustainable? No, because it will come to a burst point like NSARS and other governance demonstrations. So while we cope with the daily with humor and other community activities, as a people, we have to generate a political will that we choose the kind of governance we want and we hold that governance structure accountable. Because how am I governing myself as a mother, as a staff, as a colleague in my community? We think governance is so abstract, but as a person, you are a government of your own. So you have to learn to govern your time, your resources, your family, your place of work. Don't wait to become the local government chairman. There is a whole cascade that begins with you and whatever platform you have to operate. So as Nigerians, I say, learn to govern yourself and whatever institution you're responsible for at the moment. And be resilient, be hopeful, but it shouldn't make you irresponsible about not demanding good governance and holding such governance structures accountable.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you so much for sharing. So what are the things Nigerians should do at this crucial time to ensure their mental health?
Yes, the issue of mental health is hardly discussed in this country, and it's even less identified, but it's there. It's just that we don't recognize it, and it's taking its toll on us. A lot of people don't rest enough. A lot of people don't drop their phones enough. They don't take breaks to take a nap enough. They don't exercise enough. At times maybe also they don't have a safe space in the house where they can just go and relax and just unwind. Because the country is tough. You said it. It's tough. But Nigerians are also tough. But it doesn't mean that Nigerians don't also have a breaking point. And that breaking point is where nobody wants to get to. And as a government, we also don't want any Nigerian to get there.
Definitely.
That's why we advocate for everybody to have, the necessary rest. If it's like on a weekend, take a rest. Go out. Go gardening. If you don't want to go to, some recreational spots, talk with friends, talk with your spouse, bond with your children. We don't do enough of that, because everybody is trying to, the rat race, the proverbial rat race, looking for money everywhere. Then we forgot that we have to actually live. You're looking for, okay, once I make the first 1 million or 2 million, then I'll start relaxing. Then you'll never relax. There's a time for relaxation and there's a time for everything. Go to church, go to your community, meet your people, your old friends. If you have secondary school friends, university friends, colleagues that are, outside the work environment, learn relaxation techniques. Do a routine test, check your
And
cholesterol,
yoga is
your blood
not
sugar.
like a rocket science. It's just a simple exercise.
Yeah,
you
breathing
can
techniques.
breathing techniques, something you can do in your room,
Yeah,
something you can
take a massage.
Yeah, exactly.
Go for a swim.
Exactly. Exactly.
just
Man, I like the way you're
take it
mentioning those
easy.
high profile things. So
I was going to jump in there that these are bougie,
like are there rivers
bougie,
in
bougie
Abuja that people can
relaxation.
swim in?
No, there are
it's
rivers, but you might not want to
Don't
swim
go
in
in
those
the
rivers.
river.
And I wouldn't. And please,
because you still have to pay to swim in a pool, or somehow not all Nigerians, not even up to 10% of Nigerians have swimming pools in their
I don't
houses.
think it's up to 10%.
It's not. It's way less than that.
Yes.
But
So,
if you can afford
yeah.
that, a lot of people have pools in their houses and they are not using. Do you get? So this advocacy, goes to them to say, please relax and swim, and then do yoga.
It might
Go
not
to
just
the
be that. I
gym.
said, just come back and talk to your kids, hug them, and let them hug you, because you might think
Exactly.
it's you. You might think it's them that need the hug. Meanwhile, it's
Exactly.
really you that actually needs the hug.
Can I just
Yes.
run into that? As Africans, we're very communal.
Exactly.
We're kind of losing that with the way we live in townships now. So like my co-host said, we have to find those layers of community that help us
Exactly.
function.
Exactly.
Your support system. Let's not lose our values as a people. We're communal. That is our makeup. especially for men. We can rant to each other as women, to anybody. I can meet the videographer. She's a babe. Come, do you know this is what happened to me? It's giving me headache. Hey, yeah. But men don't have those spontaneous exchanges. So I feel more for my male demographic, and I really empathize, and I hope that we find ways beyond bottles that help you relax, because
Watering
even
holes.
the bottles, the watering holes are leading you closer to cancer, your graves. We don't want to be widows. So culturally we have to lean into wholesome grounding support systems like the family. So I'm happy that it was my male counterpart that mentioned the need for family bonding.
Yes.
And it's good
Yes.
that came up, because if you look at recent happenings, you see that the family system in the country, is degenerating, so to say. You see a lot of divorce happening on social media. Like, we didn't get to have the time we would want to have to for this conversation, because I wanted us to dive into social media, the news we see on social media, the lifestyle we see on social media, and how that affects, us.
What has happened over the generations with the woke culture, is it's the acceptance of a lot of foreign, transgender and all these things. They don't see it the way we used to see it. We see it. At times when I talk about, when I'm reading something and I talk about it with my kids, and they're looking at me, Daddy, what's wrong with being gay? Just let them be.
There's a
Let
whole
them
lot
be.
wrong with it, so we need to establish that.
Let them be. Let them be. And I'm like, then of course with the whole transgender and he, she, they, them, pronouns changing and all that. These are things that we come in contact with all the time. I grew up in France. My dad was a diplomat. So and France is a very permissive society. French kids, they start drinking wine at very early ages. My parents were Nigerian, and
Thank God for our culture.
and my dad was a hard nut. My mom was more of the butter between the two of them. So she was a bit more like, but I love these children. But my dad would not allow you to do a lot of things. So I grew up with that. But and I still see it everywhere. And I try and balance it up, because we're not more in those ages. But the truth about it is that if we allow what the social media and the Gen Z and the difference, the gap, which is the talk to influence us, then we'll lose them. We'll lose them. Now the marriage, they don't even like talking about marriage. They're like, why would you get married to somebody? Then just knowing that after 5 years you start looking at the person, and the person is no more beautiful to you. I said, well, the beauty is not just about the facial; it's more inner, And that's why we tell them, and even in peace building, it's not just about coming to a place and trying to make peace, but how do you enforce and make it sustainable?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that social media conversation was so interesting, like having to deal with your generation and what your father did to at least balance the whole thing. And then, of course, have you spoken about the social media and how it's playing out for you?
I think my co-host
Quickly,
has done justice to it, but just 3 points. It's available, it's addictive, and it can waste lives.
Exactly.
So even as adults, the way we relate to social media should be measured. The children are watching us. We go to the family gatherings now, we're all tapping phones rather than engaging in conversations. And the building block for peace is communication.
Exactly.
So our kids don't have the communication skills that we have, and we're showing them that it's okay, because even in public we're tapping phones rather than engaging with that uncle, that auntie, that niece, and pulling them into those conversations. As difficult as it is, it starts with us, the adults, and we should really, really take charge of that communication skill. For me, it's a case of don't lose communication. Social media is a danger to that.
Exactly. Don't lose communication. The physical communication is way more important than what we have on social media. And for most of us, what happens on social media is not real. Do we agree?
A lot of it is curated.
Yes, we need to balance whatever we see, and let's make our physical life, real. And whatever you see online, is someone just acting up. Don't begin to measure yourself by that standard.
I just wanted to add that last week I actually facilitated an online program around the digital divide and the youth. And one of the issues that I sort of brought up was about bullying.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of Nigerians don't see it as a problem because it's outside the country where, you know, body shaming could lead to bullying online, and some people have committed suicide, and it's coming gradually here. Because I had a personal experience with my daughter that was on an app, Roblox, and I didn't know that they could communicate. I thought it was just they could just play games with each other because it's an app for younger children. And I found out she was always sad when she finishes, and they're always yabbing her because she's not very good at that part, at the games that they play.
Imagine that.
So I told her to stop playing the game, you know, and that's the advent of bullying, you know, because it's after each game, the people that lose, they tend to, you know, start yabbing you, and at times, you know, children, they don't react well to it. So I mean, we should be wary
It's a
of
whole
bullying
lot.
online.
One word. What should Nigerians do at this time to ensure their personal peace and hold government accountable for good governance?
So peace is deliberate, peace is intentional, peace is personal. So really own it. Really, really own it. I don't know why you threw in government there, but be aware of what's happening
Balance.
in your local community.
Exactly.
And in that space, influence who and what you can within your capacity, because we're not helpless. Don't feel helpless about your peace. I'll stop there.
Yes. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Whenever I think of, you know, peace, I think of an ancient Indian proverb where, you know, you have two spirits in you. You know, you have the good spirit and you have the bad spirit. Whichever you feed is the one that grows and gets bigger. So if you feed the spirit of hate and violence, it will get bigger. You feed the spirit of love, of tolerance, of, you know, accommodation, reconciliation, and resilience, because the ultimate aim of any peace builder is to build resilience. If you don't build resilience, no matter what happens, that's why we run away from saying conflict resolution. We say conflict management, because it's things that you resolved 20 years ago. Next thing you hear, it's coming back again. You wonder from where, because the resilience you built is generally waning away. The people that could hold on to the situation are probably no more there, or have gone. So the newer ones are not tolerant, and they want, you know, for us to fight. So let us continue feeding the good spirit and let it grow. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
I've been very privileged having two very beautiful women by my side.
I've learned a lot.
And,
I've learned a
Sage.
lot.
Thank
Exactly.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much
Yeah.
for being on the show today. You guys really poured out yourself in this conversation, and I learned so much. Nigerians, of course, I know are blessed just listening to you on this conversation. So thank you for
What
coming.
an honor. Thank you for
Thank
having
you,
us.
Dr.
Thank you very much.
Chukwuemeka Umba.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
By
so
special
much.
grace.
Okay, thank you so
Yes.
much. Don't go. Don't go. And thank you so much, Winifred.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining our conversation today. At this point, we are going into a very interesting session. I actually really looked forward to having this part of our show, and it is the game time.
Let's do
These beautiful people are going to be playing simple game, so I'm sure they are just going to very, very well go around it and give us the right answers. So there's no winner or loser on this show. We are all winners. We are all peace builders. However, I hope that we get to bond more, you know, just playing this game together and just share more exciting time on the show. So who is going first? Now it's no longer lady first. Okay, sir, let's go with you. Give me an alphabet. Name of a peace builder that begins with M. Name of a country.
Mali,
Name of a food.
maize,
Name of a place in Nigeria.
Maiduguri,
Name of a past or present president.
Muhammad Buhari,
Name of an NGO or CSO.
pass.
Name of an influencer. Name of an
pass.
actor or actress.
Ding, ding.
No,
Name of an African country.
Mali,
Thank you so much. That was really nice. You
We're
did
freezing
try.
now.
Like
Yeah, what you
seriously.
remember.
Yeah, what you remember.
Like you know
Quick
these
thinking.
things, but once you're on the hotspot, it disappears. Okay, thank you. Nice one. All right, so to our delectable lady
What
in the
alphabet did you
building,
do?
she did.
M.
He did M.
I was going to do M again. Okay.
Like peace builder. Messi was right in front of you. Okay, over to you right now. Pick an alphabet.
N.
MN. Okay, so name of a peace builder,
Nkrumah.
name of a country,
Namibia.
name of food,
Not.
name of a place in Nigeria,
Niger Delta.
name of a past or present president,
Kwame Nkrumah.
name of an NGO CSO,
Nim.
name of an influencer,
Nadia Buhari.
name of an actor or actress,
Pass.
name of an African country,
Namibia.
name of a musician.
See, I don't listen to music.
Like
Pass.
seriously?
Seriously.
All right, thank you so much. That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have come to the end of our conversation today. I love the game section.
Yeah.
However, the very meat of today's podcast is that Nigerians, we need to survive. And not just survive, we need to be well for ourselves and for the country. I will be doing a wrap up of points from our conversation right after now. But today I just need to say thank you to our guests for being on this podcast. Thank you, beautiful Winifred Alobo
you.
Agogo.
Yeah.
I got that
quite
right.
a mouthful, but you
Quite
got
a
it.
mouthful, but I tried.
You did it.
She's a lawyer, and can I just round this up and say you're a social worker?
That's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And to our very handsome, senior brother, doctor. I don't know. The doctor is already coming to my
Well,
mouth.
it will soon get
Mr.
there.
Chukwuemeka Umba, he is a deputy director at the Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution. It was just super beautiful having the two of you, super peaceful.
Thank you
And so
very
Thank
much.
you so much for being on our show
thank you.
today.
Thank you.
Wow, we had such a robust conversation today on the show. So much was said on how we can ensure our peace and mental health. So do watch out and stay tuned to Peace Talk with Mercy. This is your number one peace building talk show anywhere in the world. Yeah. Do follow us on social media. Peace Talk with Mercy on X, Peace Talk with Mercy on YouTube, and Peace Talk with Mercy on Instagram and TikTok. On Facebook, we are Peace and Development News. So I look forward to seeing you guys on our social media platforms. Let's really create the peace that we need, the peace that we desire together. And remember, you are the peace that you need. So do be the peace wherever you are. And of course, stay tuned to Peace Talk with Mercy. We are here for joy, peace, positivity, and everything beautiful. See you in the next edition of Peace Talk with Mercy.
Keep watching Peace Talk with Mercy.